Can you see a bit of a theme here? Oh god, they're heavy. Oh, put them down, put them down, put them down. Okay. I don't even know where to put them. I can't move them out of shot, there's no space. Here's the big stack. Hey folks, it's Abby, and these are the 10 books that I want to get through in 2025. Now, there is a bit of a theme for most of these. They're big, but these are also the oldest books, I think, that are on my TBR. Now, I wasn't really tracking things as thoroughly at the time when I was getting these, so I'm not entirely sure, but I know a lot of them are fairly old. They're not even that old, but I was still living at my parents' when I got this. I've lived here for a few years. Again, parents. This was at university. This was at there's a theme. So I'm going to go through all of these. You've just gotten a sneak peek, but I'm going to go through them all, say what they are, why I've been putting them off, and hopefully I will actually get through these 10. It's only 10, that should be doable. I'll get through them in 2025. So starting with the shortest book, and that is Foundation by Mercedes Lackey. This was gifted to me by my wonderful uncle who runs a page called On This Gay Day, so I will link the Instagram down below. And this is a fantasy book, like it's the start of a fantasy series. Magpie has slaved in the gem mines of Valdemar for as long as he can remember, and Carrie from Caring for Books has read and loved lots of books by Mercedes Lackey, so this one should be good. I should really enjoy it. It's just, I think, knowing that, I just haven't prioritised it, because I'm like, yeah, I'll enjoy that, I'll read it whenever, and so it's just never gotten prioritised whatsoever. So this will be read this year. This is actually 2 books in one, so technically this is 11 books, because apparently I hate myself. This one is The Dark Vault by V.E. Schwab, which contains The Archive and The Unbound, and this was gifted to me by my aunt when I was around 20. I'm 28. So, this one, I think, imagine a place where the dead rest on shelves like books. Sounds fascinating. I have a mixed reaction to Schwab's books. Her ideas and her writing are both fascinating and beautiful, but for some reason I don't connect with any of her characters, which is why I put this one off, as well as, I know it's 2 books in one, but you know, I'm like, oh, it's really big, so I put it off. So I'm finally going to read this. I'm finally going to read this bind up. Hopefully I will still enjoy it. Again, her concepts are really fascinating and her writing is beautiful. I just don't find myself caring. But I'm hoping that this one will be different, and if not, I seem to give them all like 3 stars, so I'm fine with doing that, okay? It's fine. Then, oh, we almost can't see the stack, how exciting. We have The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. This is a book that was written in the 70s? It was published in 1980, so it was probably written in the 70s, but it's set in the 1300s. The year is 1327, and there are, how many? 7 bizarre deaths. So this is written historically, but not that old, but a bit old, and it's a mystery, and it's translated from Italian. Again, this is because it's a bigger book, and because it's a vintage book, my brain's like, oh, this will be difficult to read, and the writing is fairly small inside as well. So, but I think it's going to be really fascinating. I do tend to read mystery books quite quickly, so I'm hoping that that will assist me here, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And this was gifted to me by a friend in like 2017, so I should really read it before we hit the decade mark. The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. This one is very handy. So I bought this again around 2017, and there's actually going to be an announcement for a readathon. Becca from the Comic Book Sanctum, or the Book Sanctum, depending on where you find her, is going to be doing a certain little something. I will have a video announcement. So keep an eye out for that. Becca is linked down below, so go subscribe to her channel so you can see that. But that's not why I picked this, just genuinely, I've had it for about the same amount of time, since around 2017. This is a YA, so it should be very quick to read, and it's just another one of those ones that I just, for some reason, I've just left it languishing. I think I'm going to enjoy it, and I know it's going to be a quick read, so I've just left it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll pick it up at some point. Well, some point is now, and I'm going to read it. So, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to them all, otherwise I would have unhauled them. Then we have the final book in a trilogy. This is Citadel by Kate Moss. Labyrinth and Sepulchre were the first 2. I saw 1,000,001 of these around in Preston when I was doing my undergrad, and so I picked them up because they were all over the charity shops. They are historical fiction primarily, but all of them have fantasy elements in, which keeps me a little bit more interested, but every single time I say to myself, oh, if this had been more fantasy, I would have enjoyed it more. Why do I do this? So that should be an interesting read, and I read through these faster than you would think for the size of them. Then we have Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood. I picked this one up for two reasons. One is that the only Atwood I've ever read has been the two books in the Handmaid's Tale series. I really enjoyed both of those. Secondly, this one was published in 1996, which is the same year I was born. These are the two reasons I've kept this on my TBR. So this is one of the ones I was thinking that if I DNF it, then I DNF it. So we shall see. I hope I don't, I hope I love it. But this is based on the true story of one of the most enigmatic and notorious women of the 1840s in Canada. I don't really know much other than that. So it should be interesting. I think she's like a murderer or something, who knows. But I got this for free when I used to work in a call centre. There was a desk, so I picked it up. We were able to take it out for free. So it's not a loss either way, but hopefully I will enjoy it. Now we're on to the hardbacks. This one is another one that isn't so big, but I've put it off for a very specific reason. So this is Cilka's Journey by Heather Morris, and I was absolutely burnt out on World War II stories. Now I'm aware that's a very privileged position to be in. Oh no, I don't want to read any more about the Holocaust and about concentration camps because it's too much for me. I'm aware that is very privileged, but I was very burnt out on them, and the thought of picking this up filled me with dread. And so I was worried about, it's one of the ones I've had for the longest, obviously, and I was worried about picking it for this challenge, and then I looked at it and was like, no, I'm okay to pick that up now. So we're going to get through this. I have heard some negative things about Heather Morris. I know that for the Tattooist of Auschwitz, she went and spoke to someone directly who was a survivor of the concentration camps. I'm not sure if this one had any link to the real life, and I've not heard great things, but I have this, and I also have Three Sisters by her, so I do want to read this one. It should be relatively quick, other than the traumatic experience, because the writing is quite large. So yeah, that's why this one has been put off. It's just I personally was not in the right headspace to be dealing with it, but I think I am now. The next two are the second and third book in a trilogy, the Centuries trilogy by Ken Follett, and that is Winter of the World and Edge of Eternity. So book one was set during World War I, this one is set during World War II, and this one is set during the Cold War, because we haven't had World War III yet. We're working on it, apparently. I need to put this one down. So Ken Follett is an author that I have a history with. You can check out my video if you would like to of my review of Pillars of the Earth, where I just get insulted in the comments. Ooh. His writing of women, especially further back in time, was not great. It improved in Fall of Giants, and I'm hoping that that will continue and he will just get better at writing women. But I cannot deny his incredible historical research and the accuracy of it. It's all done beautifully. I learned so much about these times that I then later go and fact check and find out it's all true. I'm still going to read them. And hopefully I will gain a lot of information, especially I knew stuff about World War One, and I know a lot about World War Two, but I don't know a lot about the Cold War, so I'm hoping that this will expand my horizons, and I will learn a lot more than I already knew. The final book of the 10. And this one is Wonders of the Solar System and the Universe by Professor Brian Cox and Andrew Cohen. So this is a book I picked up for like £5 when W.H. Smith's was doing a sale one time. It's meant to be very expensive, it's meant to be £50, and yeah, they did a sale on it. It was, why am I doing this? £6, that's why I was doing it, because I knew I'd kept the sticker somewhere. So yeah, it's meant to be £50, they were selling it for £6, and I was like, oh, that's fascinating, I love space. But I haven't picked it up because it's huge. I put it off at the time because it's based on a BBC programme, and I was like, oh, I should try and watch the programme first, and then read along with it. But I've just decided that it just needs to be read, and I can watch the programme if and when I want. There's loads of graphs, loads of writing, it should be interesting. Oh, it's something that only people that care about space are going to give a damn about, but I'm excited to dive in and to annoy my other half by spouting space facts while he's trying to concentrate on a video game. It's going to be good. And those are the 10/11, because of that bind-up, books that I am going to be reading this year. Now, part of me is tempted to say that if I don't manage to read it, they expire, and I have to get rid of them. Part of me is nervous to say that, because, for example, very specifically, the Centuries trilogy, obviously Winter of the World is already huge, so then if I don't manage to get to Edge of Eternity, like, it's not likely to be from a lack of trying. So that's the one reason I'm hesitant to do that. So maybe that will be my one caveat, because there's technically 11 books here. Edge of Eternity will be my only caveat that I don't have to get rid of, but the rest of these, if I don't read them in 2025, they're going to expire. I will have to do an update of this. Oh my god, they're so heavy. I'll have to do an update at the end of the year / the beginning of 2026 to let you know how badly I failed and or succeeded. Let me know down below in the comments, folks, if you have read any of these and which ones you think I should bump to higher up and reading sooner than the others. I would love to know. Subscribe if you would like to see how badly I am going to fail with this stack in the coming year, and I will see you folks in the next video. Bye!